Genesis chapter 1. This is from the edition of the Jewish Publication Society 1985 edition. It is a translation of the Leningrad Codex from scratch, begun in 1956. And they worked over 30 years on it. There was input from Orthodox, Conservative, and Reform rabbis, along with professors from universities in linguistics. It's the best rendition you can find out there. It's far better than anything I've seen used by Shabbat, Jews for Judaism, Outreach Judaism, Tobias Singer. I mean, he's got in verse 10 of Isaiah 53 that whatever the Hebrew is means guilt offering. Let's go to Leviticus. Human sacrifice. Human sacrifice. Since he doesn't believe a man is described for the day of the Lord, he's gonna tell you that God sacrificed 6 million Jews in the Holocaust, and that his portion, Hitler received the hide. Well, it's the person making the sacrifice that gets the hide. So Tobias Singer believes the Jewish people as the man Israel is described, and yet Hitler's the righteous servant. Yeah, I don't think too much of his translation skills whatsoever. Verse 1. When God began to create heaven and earth, the earth being unformed and void, with darkness over the surface of the deep, and a wind from God, footnoted to be the Spirit of God, sweeping over the water. God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, a first day. God said, "Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water." God made the expanse, and it separated the water which was below the expanse from the water that was above the expanse. And it was so. God called the expanse sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, a second day. When God first began teaching me the Tanakh, he came to me, an atheist for 50 years. He had been with me from birth. Just to make sure I lived a life of pain, suffering, familiar with disease, and fit every single verse of Isaiah 53. And of course, with his teachings, I can explain it verse by verse better than any man that's ever lived. And I also show how it is associated, and the very key to understanding it is the book of Ezekiel and Ezekiel himself. In any event, when we were reading Genesis, and it wasn't necessarily the first book I read, when God says, "Let there be light," and there was light, and God separated the light from the darkness. How do you separate light from darkness? See, you can read, there's two things to read in here. The creation of the earth, unformed, it was still forming. Tectonic plates breaking up, continents being formed, and void means void of any life. There's no life at this point in time. But you can read more into it. This is what he taught me. He said, imagine a box. And you take an expanse and you draw a line right through the middle of it. A separation. Above that separation is white light. Below that is nothing but darkness. Now he just separated light from darkness. Because really, you have darkness, then light shines on it, it's not darkness. It's not a separation. So that's what those terms mean. And then he had to put a sun for there to be light on the earth. Okay, that means we're in the darkness. You have the expanse, then above that, heaven, white light. That's how he explained it to me. Let there be an expanse in the midst of the water, that it may separate water from water. Again, just like separating the light. In the realm of God, there is an element that can be associated with waters of the earth. Okay, because it says he puts an expanse and there's waters above and waters below. The waters below would be the waters of this earth. The waters above would be waters of heaven, or an element that's very similar to it. Okay, here's how he told me to think of this as far as creation. Now we know Genesis, creation of the earth, and then it was no longer void with the creation of life. But God is in darkness. Okay, He's gonna make a separation between light and darkness. His realm, I call it the unseen realm of God, existed before this universe. He is responsible, he tells me, for the Big Bang that created our universe. Our universe sits within His universe, the original universe. Two universes in one. One that has materials and substance and worlds and stars and sun, and one that does not. Although it is full of elements we can't understand, including spirit itself. These waters, light. What is the great white light? What is the source? So that's the beginning. And you can read it into the first 10 verses or so, whatever it was I just read. The second paragraph began at verse 6. So, I'm getting instructions on what to do, what to talk about next. Okay? Thank you very much.